in spiritual practice. I'm Kavod Weeder, and pleasure to be able to share these moments with you uh, this morning. Um, we are in a very special part of our Torah cycle, which is this weekend is Parshat Beshalach, also known as Shabbat Shirah, which is Shabbat Shirah is the Shabbat of song, and that's really referring to the moment where the Israelites uh, are at the Red Sea in the liberation story of the Exodus from Egypt, and they're at a rock and a hard place, right? They've come to the sea, and they don't know how to keep going forward. And all of a sudden, Pharaoh and his army got a change of heart and decided to pursue them, and they're stuck. There's nowhere for them to go, and God splits the sea open. They come through a path through the sea. The Egyptians and the chariots pursue them. And after they make it through a good part of it, the waters close in, and the Egyptians lie dead. And the Israelites then, led by Miriam, sing a song called Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. It's a song of praise. And they really express their faith after seeing this amazing miracle and feeling God's presence in their life and all of that. It is pretty natural for us that when we are in a place of gratitude, when we notice God's blessing in our life, to want to express it, whether we express it in song, when we come together for Shabbat services and we sing together, there's lots to be grateful for, and we can tap into that and we can sing. We can share with people that we care about when we feel grateful for our relationships with them. We can share with them what our gratitude is. That all makes sense. There's an incredible midrash, early midrash on the splitting of the sea that says that what happened when the sea split that also motivated the Israelite song is that they saw the very Egyptian oppressors that were the taskmasters over each one of them individually lying dead. Not even just in a general sense. I'm saying, Egyptian guy number A, who was the one who was constantly beating and whipping each, one of the Israelites, and was for almost their whole life that symbol of fear, that symbol of oppression, that symbol of all of that. They saw that individual Egyptian dead after the Red Sea. And in that moment, they knew that God was with them because they knew that they never had to be afraid again of that person. They knew that even on their journey, as they went on, there wouldn't be that Egyptian hiding behind some rock or something that was ready to have it in for them. It was what they feared was gone. And in that moment, also, that the Midrash says, they also realized that not only was God with them in that moment of making sure that they would never have to be afraid again, but they realized that even through the whole process of the liberation in Egypt, especially that time when Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh to do that, and Pharaoh increased the burdens on them, right? Increased the burdens. And they said to Moses, "What are you doing? Now you've made it worse for us." They realized in that moment of the Red Sea splitting that God was with them even through that time, even when it felt like the burdens increased. It didn't feel like it at the time, but looking back and seeing their oppressor dead on the sea, they were able to sing from this place of incredible just incredible hope, incredible connection, incredible sense of God's love and presence. So, this whole image, this story really invites us into the possibility, what would it be like to live without fear? What would it be like, whatever our fears are, our anxieties, whether it has to be about, whether it's about our health, whether it's about our children, whether it's about the direction of our community or our country, what would it be like if whatever the fear and the anxiety that we carried was just gone, was just gone? That in that moment, just like the Israelites, that what had been hanging over their heads for so long suddenly was just gone like that. But they realized that that larger presence, that God presence that was responsible for making sure that they did not have to be afraid anymore, was with them all along, was with them all along. What would it be like for each one of us to suddenly have a view, to be, not only do we not have to be afraid anymore because God is with us, but that we had to be afraid, that God's been with us every step of the way, every step. So that is such a powerful, powerful image to and teaching to feel into, to try on, to give to. And that's what I want to invite us today to sit with. What is it like to be in the moment here with no fear? With no fear. So find a comfortable space that you can sit for a period of time. And settle in, feel the contact of your bottom on the chair. And we'll start with a nigun. There's actually some words to this too, which is from the Song of the Sea, which you will recognize. Hi, 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 hi. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai. Ai, ai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai. Ai, dai, 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 dai. Micha, mocha, ba'elim Adonai. Micha, mocha, neder ba'kodesh. Nora tehilo ose fele. Nora tehilo ose fele. The words translate to, who is like you, Adonai, abounding in holiness, doing wonders. Micha, mocha, ba'elim Adonai. Micha, mocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Nohora Tehilo, Ose Fele, Nohora Tehilo, Ose Fele, Yai Dai, Yai Dai Dai Dai. Yai, rai, rai, yai, rai, rai, yai, rai, yai, rai, 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 yai, rai, 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 yai, rai, rai, yai, rai, rai, yai, rai, rai, yai, rai. Yai dai dai, yai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai. Just let yourself settle in. Notice the contact between your bottom and the cushion or the chair, the place where your feet meet the ground or the bed, the distance between the bottom of your spine and the top of your head, the length of your legs as they come out of your hips and hang all the way to your toes. The position of your arms as they hang out of your shoulders, the angle of your elbows, and the resting place of your hands. Let yourself relax. That while your attention is open and present to this moment, you just let go. Let the shoulders hang. Let the feet and the legs hang. Feel the pull of gravity on each part of your body. Notice the breath, following the passage of the in-breath, of the inhale as it enters your nostrils or your mouth, reaches its maximum length, and then switches over into an exhale, following the breath out. Noticing the way that the body expands and contracts with the inhale and the exhale. Be aware of the sounds that surround, not focusing on one or the other, but just letting your awareness be open to let all the sounds and activity in your space, beyond your space, letting it be as it is, present to the breath, the pull of gravity on the body. And let yourself be right here, right now, with no anticipation of the future, no holding on of the past. Just right here, right now, without fear, being present moment by moment by moment. As all of life inside you and around you unfolds, changes, manifests itself. We are showing up for each moment fully. And in order to do that, our awareness cannot stick to what has gone before. It cannot stick to imaginings of what will happen. But is just purely here and now. Even as you notice the moment by moment unfolding of each phenomenon, breath, body, sound, touch, also sense into your very presence. Who is it that is watching? Who is it that is present with breath, with sound, with body? I can perceive my breath, so I'm not my breath. I can perceive the sounds, so I'm not the sounds. I can perceive the thoughts and the images in my mind, so I'm not the thoughts and images. Who am I? Sense into this presence that witnesses, that watches, that is here every moment. That this is the sense of presence and awareness that is here before the mind starts to filter and judge. This is the presence that was not only here with us 5 minutes ago, but has been here and with us all our life. The one who watches, the one who sees, the one who experiences. This sense of presence is always with us, has always been. This is a presence that can never be destroyed. This is a presence that can never be insulted. This is a presence that has no need to defend, but just radiates. Let yourself be in your own presence with the awareness that your own presence is the presence with the capital P. It's the presence that's always with us. The only difference is that we're paying attention to it. I'm going to be quiet now for a period of time. Stay present, aware, connected with the movement of breath, the expansion of the body. The sense of presence that watches it all. Get to be completely here. No fear, no resistance, no tension. Even if you notice contraction in the body or mind that is unfolding moment by moment, sense into that very sense of presence, of witness, is without any resistance, without any holding. This presence is infinitely expansive. Sense into the vitality, the energy of your own awareness. Who is like you, ever present one, among all that we can perceive? Who is like you, abounding in holiness, awesome in praise, doing wonders? Micha mocha Maeli matona Mika mocha Nedar bakodesh Nora tehilo Ose fele Nora tehilo Ose fele Yai 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 Ai, ai, yai, dai, dai, yai, dai, yai, dai, 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 dai. All right, thank you for that space together. Any comments or questions?
Oh.
Yes, Kathy, good morning.
I had a little trouble getting in this morning. I tried a different technique, and so I apologize to Ellen and Norma and Sarah. I emailed them trying to get in, and so just ignore my email. I figured it out, but I was late.
No problem. No problem. How was it for people living without fear, even in this moment here, to sense into the presence that is always with us, not in some kind of abstract way, not some kind of way that's an idea, but to really sense into the reality of our own presence in this moment, and that presence never goes away, even when we're sleeping. There still is an eye of awareness that is present with subconscious, whether we wake up remembering the dream, presence never goes away.
For me, it was very liberating this morning.
Nice. And can you say a word or two about what was liberating? What gave you that sense of freedom?
Just knowing that I was safe.
Yeah.
And I wasn't being judged. And I was with people that I cherish. And just feeling in the moment. Yes. Not worrying about what's going to happen later or tomorrow or the next day, but just right now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, Norma. Thanks for sharing that. What I want us to pay attention to is that what Norma shared was something that she is sharing from her direct experience, not from an idea about safety that she has. There are a lot of ways to relate to some of these truths as ideas. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with affirmations, right? I'm safe, I'm connected, all of these things that we can say as reminders to ourselves of what we know in our hearts to be true. But in that moment, for many of us, we may be relating to them as ideas, ideas that are helpful, ideas, but still ideas as opposed to our direct experience. And what Norma was sharing is that it's not just the idea that she was safe, but that there was, by paying attention to your own sense of presence and noticing how that presence cannot be judged, cannot be, cannot be destroyed, cannot be tarnished, cannot be any of those things. It's ever present. The safety and security comes from noticing directly what's real. And that's really what I think is so important about our meditation practice, about meditation, is because it's a way of tapping into these deeper truths, not from a place of dogma, not from an idea of something that we should think about, but just from paying attention to our own experience. Taste and see that it's good. This is a direct taste. Eileen, go ahead and unmute yourself.
This experience helped me realize what a hold my fear has of me.
Mhm.
I realized that I unconsciously thought that if I am afraid of something, I have control over it.
Mm.
And I don't. It's what's going to happen is going to happen. And I realized that I can let go of it, and my body feels so much better. And I'm so much more at peace. And I have to remember that I have to let go of that and let God take care of it.
That's beautiful. I mean, I think everybody in the room is kind of resonating with that insight, Eileen. And it's all well and good to say that we need to let go of our fear, right? A lot of the times it's easier said than done. But your insight to be able to pay attention to say, wow, that I am aware that I specifically am choosing to be afraid. I mean, we wouldn't even think about that that we choose to be afraid. No, I'm choosing to be afraid because it gives me a sense, I have a belief that it will control, it will keep, that my very fear is what will keep me safe. My very, worrying is what will keep me safe, and it's so funny because especially, for this, this stereotype of Jews or Jewish mothers as warriors. I worry, I'm a Jewish mother, like all of this, but this sense of, another way to say it is, I worry because that's how I believe I will be able to have some kind of control of the situation. I mean, that's what I feel like you're saying. And I fully accept, I fully embrace that. I fully embrace that without noticing that really, actually, I don't. And I wonder if the more that we can pay attention to that dynamic in our own being, how we choose fear because of the illusion of control, the easier it will be that it will just dissolve and slip away when we see the illusion of it. Thank you. Yeah, Maureen.
It's not just fear, Rabbi Kavod. I feel like it's all the negativity and rumination, all the stuff that goes on in my head, and that I don't know if it's liberating, but what I can do is move in and out of those feelings. In other words, I don't think that I can be free of fear or free of negativity, but I can move away from them. It comes back, and I can step away. I can move away from whatever it is, fear, anxiety, negativity. I'll go back to it. I know that. I go back to, I'm a little better at it over the years, but it's being able to move in and out of those negative emotions and create the positive experience for myself. Create the, I don't know how else to say it, but it's kind of accepting, yes, I'm going to go back there, but I I'm better at going away from the fear and the negativity and letting it go for at least a while.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Maury. I think what I want to reflect on what you said is all those pieces of experience, fear, negativity, anxiety. I want to just suggest that it's all part of one spectrum. When you really pay attention to the quality of anxiety, it's fear. We might not call it fear. It might not be that kind of intense, oh, whatever, or even negativity, judging other people. Usually, if we pay attention to the negativity, we see that in that there is some protection. There is some, again, that kind of need to control, to be able to pin the other person down in a label, in a box or whatever, that ultimately it's coming from the same thread that I'm calling fear as a spectrum in all of its different manifestations. And you can, when you really pay attention to your, what you might call negativity or anxiety or a thing, see if that rings true for yourself when you really pay attention. Is there that sense of protecting, of control, of staying safe that's within it? So that's one piece. The second, which is really wonderful that you said, is that for a lot of us, these thought patterns, we'll just call them that, these patterns of thought that we experience as fear, negativity, anxiety, are really what you just said, Maury. They are just that. They have no real substance of their own beyond the fact that they're these ephemeral, they're not even physical. They're not even something you can touch or taste. They're these patterns of thought that move in our brain. And when you say, I can step out of that, they never go away, which I think is totally true. My own thought patterns of neurosis and this and that or whatever, they don't go away. They've the same kinds of, some of you have heard me say this, but the same kinds of issues, let's just put it that way, issues that I've had, since I was a kid, are still present with me. Those development, those psyche. But the question is how strongly do I identify with them? And when you talked about stepping out of that fear negativity, it's like, wow, in that moment, I can realize that this has no real basis. They are just ephemeral thought forms, and I can choose to not identify with them. They're happening in me, they might happen, but I just step away and I either choose to focus on something else, or I realize that it's not about what's in front of me, the now, the present, the whatever. And we can go in and out. So I want to affirm, and of course say in my own words, but affirm what you shared, in that they don't go away, but we can choose to not identify with them. And that's where we feel the peace and the presence. And this is actually, I think, one of the deepest teachings about awareness and meditation. And I'll say it for, talked about that we choose fear, that we choose it. Eileen's insight connected to control. I want to suggest to you that we choose every place that our awareness goes. On some level, we choose it. And that's not how most of us might experience it. It might kind of seem like, oh, I sit down to meditate and my mind's all over the place. It's like a monkey mind. It's like it's happening all by itself. And I have no choice in the matter, no control of it. I just have to pay attention to that breath, as my mind goes here and there. And what I'm suggesting is the mind goes here and there because we're choosing it on some unconscious level. And maybe it's because we have an anxiety about something that's happening in the future. So our mind goes to think about it because we feel like if we think about it, we're going to be able to feel safer, mediate it, prepare for it, whatever it is. Or we had a conversation about something in the past and we're still thinking about it. And we feel no matter how much we pay attention to the breath, our mind goes back there like by itself. No, we're choosing to go back there because we're still processing that conversation. Unconsciously, there's still some kind of sense of resolution or presence or something that we're trying to go to, and so we go there. And this is just a really central insight, because we begin to, when we realize that we choose everything, we then take responsibility for where our awareness goes. And the more we take responsibility for where our awareness goes, the more that we can be more intentional about where our awareness goes. And be aware that it's not just, we're not just being blown in the wind back and forth. We're creating that wind. So
I have a question, Kavod
yes, Sherry, hi.
and Jerry. I was going to say when we finished is that for me, it's an aspirational goal. But what I realized is from what you're saying, I am, as most of you know, I'm struggling with a new thing, physically. And it's scary because I don't know when it's going to go. I know that it is better than it was and that the procedure helped, but I can't seem to get over where I go with it next. I can sit and meditate. I can focus on the good stuff, but I'm still with what's going on with my body. I'm still being pulled into that, and I'm not quite sure how do I implement what you're talking about today, and not just have it be an aspirational goal.
Well, great question, Sherry. Well, first of all, when you say aspirational goal, I want to frame that is a way of articulating your own kind of soul's knowledge. So you already know that everything is, that this presence, that your own very attention is ever present. You know that this presence, your own presence, is connected to the larger presence, and so that is a compass and a guide. And I think what you're continuing to work with is is to be able to give space and allow and permission for everything that happens in your own moment-to-moment experience to be present. That even those places of fear, of anxiety, of all of those, that the more that you are able to give space and love to even those thought patterns that go on, instead of fighting them, instead of whatever, the more you're able to be through your own presence and love with that experience of your mind, the more you will begin to see and realize the nature of it, which is just that it's a pattern in the mind. That's, that is, yes, you are going through a physical journey that is non-debatable.
Right.
Right? But what you're speaking about is, how do I relate moment to moment to this journey?
Right.
And I think the piece is that the more that you're able to, the more you can begin to identify with and sense in that very presence that you bring to each moment, that witness, the more that you are rooted in that, the more that you give space and love to whatever the thought forms are unfolding,
Mhm.
the more those thought forms will reveal themselves to you as what they are.
So it's like, it's okay for me to allow them to be there.
Yes. Yes, they are a unfolding of God's presence. They are part of this divine dance. They are all of it. You know, this is all part of whatever the mystery is of your soul's journey, of what you need to learn in this life all the way through, and how illness plays into that piece of it. It's all part of the divine curriculum.
Mhm.
So I appreciate
you.
you bringing that. Yeah, I think that's important for all of us to reflect on in our own ways.
So I guess thinking is it's the curse and the blessing of being human is
Yes.
being able to think.
Yes,
Uh,
But
yes,
it's
Yes.
like it gives me, it gives me permission to have that. And
yes,
Yes.
that's okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you,
I'm not
everybody.
going down a rabbit hole.
No,
No.
not at all. Not at all. You just keep guided by that aspirational piece of note at the same time that you're in the middle of whatever that thought form is, those patterns, that you're present with your presence, with your breath, you know, and you keep reaching for that as the anchor and the guide that helps you bring that kind of compassion and presence to the fear and all that you're discussing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for a beautiful morning.
Thank you, Kavod.
Thank you, Rabbi Kavod. Sherry,
Thank
hope
you.
you
Have
feel
a good day.
better.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And everybody, please, before you go, just some quick announcements. We've got so many great things coming up. A lot of you are aware that the Kol Isha, all women-led service, is this Saturday. It will be such a blessing. A really deep spiritual soul is our guest, Neshama Karlbach, who will be speaking and singing, as well as hearing the voices from our community. Sunday is the closing lecture of Rabbi Ariel Berger, the CSP 1 month scholar that we are co-sponsoring. I'll introduce Ariel at 4 p.m. for his closing lecture on Jewish Spirituality 2021. And then following the lecture at around 5:15, we will have the opportunity to do some more discussion, reflection on his talk, and some meditation, some experiential practice. So if you block out somewhere between 4 and 6, it'll be a lovely way for Sunday. And then the following week, Sunday, February 7th, is our day-long meditation retreat. And if you haven't registered or signed up for that, please do. It will help me very much knowing what the size of our group is for how we'll be working on that. And again, it will be a mixture of teaching, of sitting meditation, of walking meditation, of eating meditation, a lot of what we do on our retreats, some study, kind of all in one place. So it will be this incredible gift of a very deep and soulful day. You can make sure with the others in your house who may not be participating that you have your own space for the day. And I hope we'll get to share that together.
Yep, registered yesterday.
All right, great.
I'm registered.
Awesome, awesome. I haven't checked yet, but that's great. Thank you guys. All
Rabbi
right.
Kavod, thank you so much. Nice to see everyone.
Nice to
Thank
see you,
everybody.
Kathy.
Same here.
Thank you, Nora.
Good to see each other.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care. See you in a
Have
Bye.
a good week.
No, see you in a few days.
Yes.
See you tonight.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye-bye.